Are whistleblowers essentially just PR people for the DOD? Well, that's what AJ from the FILES said recently in podcasts. And so he has been pretty vocal about this stuff. So if you don't know AJ, he's the host of the FILES, which I think is an excellent show. Really breaks down circumstances and ideas, not just within the UFO community, but just things that have happened throughout human history, and whether it's things of people who said, for example, there's a time traveler who did this. AJ gives what the actual story is, the fable is, if you will, or not even necessarily the fable, the conversation around it is. And then he gives two sides of the story. He gives okay, well, let's say it is this, and this is exactly what happened. He did travel back in time. He was able to do this, this, and this. Or is this actually what happened? Then he gives facts that could potentially negate that. And he does, and this, I'm just using this one particular example. But the FILES is a fantastic show. It's been on for a while, and AJ is well respected in a lot of different circles because of the way he approaches things. And I like the way he approaches things too. He asks questions. He doesn't necessarily just say things outright. Although he's kind of saying something outright in this clip, but he was on Rugiet recently, and he's very well educated on the matter. It's not one of these things where he's just like, there are some people who just doubt things right away, and they're not educated. They don't understand what's going on. This is someone who has facts and says, well, I see this, and I look at all these particular things, and I see this. And he has an interesting take on whistleblowers. So check this out.
But something's going on. I've seen videos. Most, I don't believe the whistleblowers. I don't believe anyone from Air Force intelligence. I don't believe any of that. And if you have a book out, I don't believe what you're saying. If you're cleared by the DOD,
I definitely don't.
I definitely don't. If you still have clearance and you're still a contractor and you're still working with DOD, I can't. You're not a whistleblower. You're doing PR. So, with all due respect, I don't believe you guys. Matthew Brown, I think his last name is Brown. He's kind of a compelling whistleblower because he doesn't go over the top. He just says, I found evidence of, something going on in space. And that's really all he says.
That's an interesting take in general, right? Like there's things that he said in there that I say, I can understand where he's coming from, and I kind of feel the same. And there's other things I go, I don't know about that. Like when he says military and Air Force, I don't believe you. I don't feel that way. Like Ryan Graves, I believe Fravor. I believe Grush, to be honest. And I know that he is the opposite with Grush, I think, anyway. But I do believe that. I don't think just because they worked for military and government. I understand being skeptical of government. Trust me, you watch this show long enough, you know that I'm definitely skeptical of government. But I don't think that just because at one point they worked for them or they were part of the Air Force, whatever it may be, that they should be doubted. I don't. Now, there is something to be said about the fact of what he's talking about with if you have clearance and you're able to talk about these things and you're essentially PR. That does go back to that, not the New York Times, but it was the Daily Post, I can't remember, but I was Wall Street Journal. It was the Wall Street Journal who wrote their report and essentially said that it was leaked that these people that are out there and the information's been out there, it's coordinated by the government to throw us off the track of actual technology and other things that we have. So I believe in UFOs and aliens and all this. Sure. That's been out there. I think that we've talked about how that Wall Street Journal, to me, that article was a complete piss pile because it's just like they only took one side. You're never going to get me on board unless you take two sides and say, okay, both sides are presenting a point of view here. Here are the facts on both sides. Now, what do you think? Then I go, well, side A put all their facts in there. Side B then negated some of that. They went back and forth. They both presented it. By the end of it, I'm going to have to go with side A. They're just representing side A the whole time. And I'm like, I don't even know what side B is. So stupid. But they did present inside of that article that there were, people who were pretty much put out there to say what the government wants you to say. Now, that's also besides that article. Lou Elizondo has been accused many times over of being a information or a disinformation person, agent, and Burleson was asked about that in particular. Burleson asked him about that, right? So the idea of it is not far-fetched, okay? And so I always scratch my head when they're like, well, I can talk about this, but I actually can't talk about this. I'm allowed to say this about this particular crazy thing that happened, even though they don't want me to, but I can talk about that, but I can't talk about this. Now, that could very well go into the just rules of government and things that I just don't know about and things that I'm not educated on, to say like, yeah, well, this is why, because of classification things and things that have been put into public record and other things that are put there, then that's why you're able to do that. That very well might be the case, but I always do scratch my head going, well, why can they talk about this, but they can't talk about that? Why are they able to discuss a particular moment here, but yet when they say this, I can't tell you unless I'm in a skiff? Now, Lou also mentioned at one point, this is an interview not too long ago, that some of the things he can talk about is because he has either seen pictures of, been involved with, was able to talk about because he was there. I can't remember what the explanation was in general, why he was able to talk about it, because then they asked him to talk about something else. He's like, I don't have information on it. It's just information that I've heard in outside rooms or things that I just am not privy to speak about. So there are those things too. But I do think that AJ falls a bit more on the skeptic side of things. And I think that he presents these topics, and I think that he gives people on his show a lot of different opportunities to say, hey, you believe what you want to believe. These are what people think. This is why some people think it's true. Here's why this might not be all they're saying it is. And here's why it might not be true. I love that point of view. I really do. I love it because it's, again, point A, point B. Two different teams. Okay, pick your decision. He just, to me, seems a little bit more skeptical about everything, which can't really blame him. I can't really blame him. I mean, you've been watching this channel long enough. You see that I'm fed up with certain things. It's like, okay, same old shit. Great. What can you tell us? You can't tell us this. Like I talked about the next hearing. Yeah, anything out of that hearing. Don't expect anything out of that hearing unless you find someone that's going to actually testify. Jerry Corbell, George Knapp said they got people that would testify tomorrow. Where are those people? But so don't expect anything there. So yeah, I get skeptical too. The other thing, speaking of witnesses, someone that he mentions is Matthew Brown. We've been talking about Matthew Brown. Jeremy Corbell brought up Matthew Brown at one point. Where's he? Where's he not testifying? But as AJ says, this is somebody who seems a little bit more more credible. He came out and he said, all right, I have done this, I've done this, I've done this. I kind of stumbled upon this. I have this information. And I would love to hear more from him. But it's interesting that's who AJ brought up inside of that. But like I said, he's well educated on it. He's got his thoughts on it. So I don't know. What do you guys make of it? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know what you're thinking. What do you think about what AJ said? Do you agree with him? Do you disagree with him? Put your thoughts in. I want to hear it. All right, before we get going, I wanted to say, again, thank you to everybody. We've been doing this show now. This channel has been on for over a year and a half or whatever. I've been covering this topic for over 2 years now. So thank you for all the support, for everybody who's been part of this. I cannot thank you enough. Again, for people who follow podcasts and everything too, the way we do this is your support is everything. If you want to support the channel, you want to help us out, I'm going to tell you about, first of all, Home Title Lock, which is incredible, and Rugiet. Tell you about both of those. We'll see you back here real soon. You want to support the channel, check them both out. Here you go. If you are a homeowner, you need to listen to this. In today's AI cyber world, scammers are stealing home titles and your equity is the target. Here's how it works. Criminals forge your signature on one document. They use a fake notary stamp to pay a small fee with your country, and just like that, your home title has been transferred out of your name. Then they take out loans using your equity or even sell your property, and you won't even know it's happened until you get a collection or foreclosure notice. So, when's the last time you checked on your home title? If your answer is never, you need to if your answer is never, you need to do something about it right now. That is why I've partnered with Home Title Lock, so you can find out today if you're already a victim. Use my promo code DTE at HomeTitleLock.com, and you'll get a free title history report and a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud does happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. It's why I trust Home Title Lock. You got to protect yourself. It's like I did. You got to make sure that you are looking after yourself, looking after your family. Don't be a victim. Protect your equity today. Go to HomeTitleLock.com and use that promo code DTE. That is HomeTitleLock.com. Use that code DTE. All right. You know Viagra, you know Cialis, you know them all. You probably even tried them. But if you want something beyond the usual pill, you got to meet Rugiet Ready. So if the usual pills are not doing it for you, Rugiet Ready, it really could be the answer. It's a 3-in-1 formula, dissolves under your tongue to absorb fast. You'll be ready in just 15 minutes on average, not hours, and effects can last up to 36 hours. That means you stay confident, you stay present, and in control when the moment is right. Getting started is simple. Rugiet connects you with a board-certified doctor, 100% online. If you're prescribed, your treatment ships quickly to your door. Connect with a provider at Rugiet.com/DTE and see if Rugiet Ready prescription is right for you. You can use that code DTE, get 15% off today. That is RUGIET.com/DTE. Use that promo code DTE, get 15% off today. Head to Rugiet.com/DTE and use that code DTE to get 15% off today. Use the code, support the show, and let Rugiet know that we sent you. Individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rugiet website for full safety information.